Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm Dr. Derek Lemaster.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week, go over the horror news, and Derek gets fictional doctorates. Where'd you get that? The School of Hard Knocks?
No, I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
Oh, that does it. I hear that they give out doctorate programs.
That's a deep cut for anybody who's old and knows what I'm talking about.
Man, those Gen Zers are going to love, those Zoomers are going to love that joke, Derek.
Well, because I don't even know. Lydia, do you even know what I'm talking about? And anybody, born in the last, 20 years probably hasn't seen an actual commercial, so.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's making me think of a commercial.
It's a commercial from the 90s. Yeah, sure is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Vaguely remember it.
But no joke. Oh, go ahead.
That's what we do here. We tell vaguely rememberable jokes from 3 decades ago.
There's some relevancy here. So this guy at my work, anytime that we're on a call with a client, he introduces me as Dr. Derek, and I don't know why, but I just go with it.
Interesting.
I'm like,
So,
yeah.
How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing terrible. If you can tell by my voice, I'm recovering from the flu, I think. So wasn't here last episode, but I had to make this one. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back, ready to join season 6. Lydia, what did you give last week's episode? Return of the Living Dead.
I think I had the same ratings that you guys were around, around a 7, I think.
7? Yep. It's good.
Yeah.
Solid
Pretty
punk rock.
It
Makes
is.
you rock hard, that movie.
Yeah.
So, speaking of rock hard, Derek, tonight we're doing Re-Animator. And this movie is also a punk rock splatterfest. We went from one to another. This is a fun time. Derek, I'm going to start with... Well, Lydia, I'm going to start with you. Have you ever seen Re-Animator?
I actually have, yes. Maybe twice.
So this is not a first. You've seen it a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Derek told me before we started that this was the first time he'd watched it. He thought he'd seen Re-Animator, but I think he just knew it by clips and reputation, right?
Yeah, this definitely would have been something on the movie channel back in the day. So may young Derek have watched it? Probably, but I don't recall it. So I'm gonna call this my first watch.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was surprised. I was like, oh, so you're going in kind of fresh. I have seen Re-Animator multiple times. Of course, I've seen Re-Animator multiple times. This is like the type of movie that was designed in a lab for me, right? I mean,
Yep.
So I've watched Re-Animator since I was a teen, and any chance I get to check it out, I'll check it out. It's a fun one. It's different, and I can't wait to talk about it. So, Derek, being your first time, you knew the basic plot of Re-Animator, right? Did you know it was like a Frankenstein riff based off the Lovecraft?
I mean, kind of. I mean, just based on the description, but it was having just watched a Frankenstein movie and also have just have watched Return of the Living Dead. It was kind of like a mashing of the stories. It was pretty interesting, but yeah, I guess not really, not to the extent that it actually was.
In Lydia, uh, when the first time you watched this, did you know what to expect?
No. No, I didn't. I remember seeing the cover and thinking oh, this looks like a super fun time.
The cover, the poster for this movie is incredible, by the way. Let's talk about that real fast because it's a gorgeous piece of art, right?
Mm-hmm.
It really
With Herbert
is,
West, with the syringe. It's such a great visual using the reanimating agent as luminol and making it bright green. It just pops off the screen, right?
Yep.
This thing is kind of moves pretty quick. So this based off the Lovecraft stories, of Herbert West Re-Animator that he wrote in the 20s. Apparently, he hated this, by the way. Lovecraft hated this story because he's writing it like annually for a magazine, right? Like I think monthly. And he had to end each segment with a cliffhanger because that's what the magazine wanted. And the only reason he said he did it was because he was being paid $5 per story, which at the time was a lot of money. Not like now where you can't even buy a fucking Good Bar for $5.
Right?
That inflation's a bitch. But so he hated it. And then critics at the time hated it. Modern critics still think it's probably his weakest story. But in the hands of Stuart Gordon, this thing sings, right?
Oh, yeah.
So did you know that this thing started as a play?
What?
Stuart Gordon was originally going to do this as a play, originally, when he was introduced to the property. Because, like I said, it's five stories, 5 episodes, basically, and it spans decades, the source material does. And Herbert West is much more insidious in the stories than he is in the movie. I mean, he's pretty insidious, but you know what I mean? He's worse. But what happened was he was like, oh no, we're going to turn it into a TV series. So he and some screenwriters got together. They wrote 13 episodes of a Re-Animator TV series. Tried to shop it around, and they were like, TV horror is not in. It's not a thing in 1985, 1986. But you know what is? I'm friends with Brian Yunza, who is a producer, and I think he would love to make this movie. So they brought Brian Yunza on, who made stuff for Charles Band and, Full Moon Studios. And we got Re-Animator. They pared it down to the first 2 stories, and we got this movie. So let's talk about Herbert West, first of all, and Jeffrey Combs. What do you guys think?
I would love to know this guy on a personal level because I want to know if he's as eccentric as he comes across in film, because this is not the first movie that he's been in on the
Nope.
podcast.
Nope.
It's been at least one other one that I can think of, The Frighteners, but he is just a scene stealer, that son of a bee.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything he's in, every scene he's in, you're just like gravitate toward him because he's just got that like little creepiness. You know what I mean? That little edge.
Yeah. Yeah. What say you, Lydia?
Yeah, I agree. I think he definitely steals all the scenes. Except for maybe the woman character. I can't think of her name right now, but
yeah, Barbara Crampton's excellent in this. We'll talk about her too.
Yeah. She's
this cast, I think, in general, is fucking excellent.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Jeffrey Combs is so good. And Herbert West is such an interesting character. Because, he's awful, but he's also endearing in a way. You know what I mean? Because he's so charismatic. And you kind of, like you said, Derek, you gravitate towards him because of his personality. And he has some fucking banger lines too. Like, I mean, they give him some great stuff my favorite being, what do you want me to do? Write a note, cat dead, details later. It's one of my all-time favorite jokes.
I am so glad you brought this up because the way that Barbara called that cat, I was just like, what is that?
That was so funny.
I'm trying to remember what it was like.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't know where she grew up, but that's how you scare things away, not call them to you.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's incredible in this movie. And, iconic. He goes on to play this part 2 more times, by the way. And the sequel, which is really strong, pretty solid. And then the third movie, which is a sci-fi original, and it's like all sci-fi original movies, terrible. But we'll get there eventually. But guys, Barbara Crampton's in this, and she's incredible, right? She's a lot of fun.
Yep.
And what a trooper she is in this movie. The stuff she has to go through in this, the paces
Yeah.
they put her through is incredible.
Yep, for sure. And by the
Can you
way,
imagine?
if I were Dan and I saw my cat in my roommate's refrigerator, I don't give a shit what the story is. You are out
Uh,
of there, man.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. Dan's not thinking straight because he needs people to pay. He needs help living in his apartment, basically. um, yeah, I agree. I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, right. That he'd be fucking out of there. But when you know when Wes just shows up immediately, like things just start kicking off. Another incredible member of this cast. By the way, can you imagine you're reading the script, and we'll get to it a little bit later. But can you imagine you're offered this part, you're reading the script, you're Barbara Crampton, you're offered her role, and you're reading through it, and you get to the end, and you're like, oh, okay, so I'm naked, tied up naked on a bench, and a head is trying to fucking go down on me. Like that
Yeah.
is insane. That is an insane thing, you know?
Yeah.
That scene where the head is next to her and the body, by the way, the fucking face on that body.
Oh my god, it's so
Like,
good.
and so you see the head and you see her laying there and the
So fun.
body's just like massaging her boobs.
Yeah.
What the fuck what is going on? And we'll have to get to that relationship between the head and the body because that makes absolutely
Well,
no
let's
sense
talk about it right
whatsoever. But
here. Of course not. Of
okay.
course it doesn't make any sense, but it's hilarious, right?
It is
I mean,
hilarious. But the fact that you could inject the head, which makes sense, I agree with that part. But then
I
it
think he injects the
reanimates.
body too. He injects the body too.
Did he?
Yeah, he
I thought
He
injects
he only
both
must
of
have
injected
them.
because
the
they're two
head.
separate.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, he injects both of
yeah,
them with
because
the
they're separate things.
reanim. Yeah, he
But
he injects
but
both.
later they're kind of like a hive mind situation too, which I
Yeah.
fully didn't
Yeah,
understand.
no, it doesn't make any sense, but I mean, we don't know the science behind it because it's obviously fake, but it's hilarious. I mean, it's so
Oh, it
good.
is funny.
Um, the fact that, by the way, let's talk about him. Let's talk about that actor, David Gale, as Dr. Hill, because he's also incredible in this movie. There is not a piece of scenery that he's not willing to take a big bite out of.
Yeah, literally. No,
For sure.
he is such a great like villainous character.
Oh, yeah. My favorite is like
Like
you can, you set him up. They set him up pretty early as like a villainous character, like at the dinner
yeah,
scene. Like he's antagonistic towards West, of course, but that's because West is saying all the shit that you learned you stole from other people, and it's also wrong. But,
I mean, but if you think about it, isn't that what teachers do? Because they're in
yes,
med
it is.
school. They
But
literally
but he
regurgitate information from
except he
other
wasn't
people.
regurgitating. He wrote papers like it was his ideas. Like he was like saying these are my discoveries, just like he tries to do with West. So he's
Yeah, that's
obviously
fair.
a hack.
Yep.
But what's funny is, like you were saying, Lydia, that so the dinner scene, he's kind of villainous. But when the dean, when Dean Halsey is like in the straitjacket and Megan goes and visits him and she's talking to Dr. Hill and he like out of nowhere just creeps on her. You're like, bah! Where the fuck did that come from?
Oh
That's when
yeah,
they're
he was
like,
definitely gonna try to pressure her into
yeah.
some stuff.
That's when the filmmakers were like, by the way, in case you haven't figured it out yet, he's the bad guy. We're like, got it, loud and clear. He sucks.
yeah.
We don't like him. Uh what about Dan? What do you guys think of Dan?
Dan's good.
He's fine, right? Yeah. Solid.
He definitely is hesitant to go along. He understands the impact of like what that research can do. But yeah, you know, the shit you get into.
Yeah, I love how the shenanigans kind of ramp up because I like how he gets into it to like, just because West shows him, he finds West being attacked by his reanimated cat. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? Which is hilarious, by the way. And then he brings him back to life to show him that it's real. So he reluctantly starts to go along with it. And he makes the mistake of telling the dean about it, of course. And then they both get expelled, essentially. And so he's in too deep. And the fact that one night they decide to go and see what happens when they bring a corpse to life, everything just falls apart. Which I think this is a good time to talk about the makeup effects in this movie because damn.
Oh,
right?
they definitely punch up
Yeah.
for sure. We looked up the budget for it. I just have one question, and I know it's a
What?
movie. After you saw what happened to the cat, how are you not restraining a fucking grown like giant man?
Well, I agree. I think logistically it's
Just
because they're not in a lab. That's part of it. But yeah, why would you even attempt it? I mean, they're just so like blinded by hubris. At least West is, of course, that nothing matters really to him. Anybody's life, death. Nothing matters except defeating death. Because that's his sole purpose, is defeating death. And, obviously also becoming famous because of that. But guys, this morgue scene is wild, right? What do you guys think of this scene? Like the makeup on the fucking hulking dude when he comes to life. That guy is pretty scary, right?
he
Yeah,
is.
it's
He
kind of a good
is.
jump scare when he like pops up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he like
Also,
has like the veins going on, and he's just like goes nuts, and he beats the hell out of Dean Halsey, bites his fingers off, and murders him obviously. But I love like the fact that West had to, he sees all the chaos going on, he kills him with the saw, and then is like, oh, the dean's dead. We just found a fresh specimen. Let's not waste this opportunity. And also, we can bring him back to life, and probably nothing will be wrong with him because the guy.
probably.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the guy, he reacted. He understood my commands. And just the fact, think about that. Like, if you're Dan, you watched your girlfriend's dad just get murdered from a guy that you reanimated, and then you reanimate the dad and have to lie to her and lie to everybody that he just went insane.
I'm pretty sure he has like a little psychotic break when it all like comes around. Was it this scene where he like laid on the floor in a cradle position? Like,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
he doesn't have as much violent instincts as the other ones that he resurrected, maybe due to the freshness of the body. But so he like kind of, goes into like a cowering mode and is like a child or like, or so basically. And then
So
this poor bastard.
I read that really quick because
Mhm.
he is kind of in that mode of like attack until his daughter comes in, and then I think it's like he recognized. This is how I interpreted that scene. He recognized her and he felt ashamed, so he like
Well,
goes all like cower and hide.
well,
That's how
that and
I
he
took
just
it.
does. He just kind of like a child. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like he doesn't know what's going on. He's a reanimated corpse. and then, and then this poor bastard also gets um he also gets lobotomized later by Dr. Hill to do his bidding. Guys, the speaking of Dr. Hill, let's talk about his demise and his resurrection because we kind of touched on it a little bit. Derek, were you shocked when West kills him with
Fucking
that shovel?
telegraphed. No, not at all. He already has like the morals of I don't know. He has none.
The
The
president?
fact that
No,
he
I maybe shouldn't say that.
what what'd you say?
I said the president. I said maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe we'll cut that bit out.
I mean, it's not.
It's true
You're
though.
not
It's
wrong.
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
But yeah, he has no morals. So you are telling this guy that you are going to steal his life's work? Yeah, good luck. Like,
Yeah.
turn your back on that guy. I dare you, because he'll kill you.
Well,
And he did.
I think, like, he plays it well because Halsey starts to, like, kind of blackmail him, and he thinks he's got the upper hand, and West plays it like he's been
Oh, he
defeated, right?
does. Yep.
And he cowers, so he thinks that he's a dominant presence. And then as soon as his back's turned, like a snake, he strikes. Right? It's good stuff. What do you guys think of the effect of the head, the decapitated head in and of itself? Because it looks pretty fucking gnarly, I think.
Yeah, it looks great. It's so believable and real looking for some reason.
Yeah.
And his movements even, like, as a head, he's, like, kind of has, like, an animatronic quality about him. Like,
Yeah.
he does really great at, like, selling that effect and by playing it that way. I don't know if that was
I like,
intentional, but
first of all, I like that Herbert just sticks him on a freaking spike that you use for notes. He just sticks his head on there so it stays up. But I love the way that like you were saying, the way he moves and the way he talks. And also how fucking weird it is when he sprays the blood into the container because he's running low on blood and he's like,
Oh my
ah.
God. That,
yeah.
who keeps, did he get that out of a refrigerator? Because who keeps
He,
blood in their office?
n- he got it. Yeah, he got it out of like a
Oh, it's a
blood sample. I
morgue.
think. Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's the morgue. He just gets it out of there. But it's pretty hilarious
It is
and kind
hilarious.
of and disturbing, like how he reacts. You're just kind of like, ugh, that's off-putting. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
like, I'm drinking it or eating it.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, no.
when he goes in and kidnaps Megan and everything, and you know West finds Dan and is like, hey, they definitely went here. We've got to stop them. So they like go to do their rescue mission and revenge tour, and Um, here's what I want to talk about with the decapitated body and stuff, because this is a pretty fun aside. Um, this movie came out in 1985, right? Um, and when they were shooting Evil Dead 2 in 1986, um, they they were reading the script, of course, that special effects, and K and B were doing the special effects before they were K and B, and it was the Mark Strossum's team, which developed into K and B. But they were doing the effects, and I remember Greg Nicotero talking about reading the script about when uh, Linda's decapitated body shows up with a chainsaw and attacks Ash in the shed, and he's like, "Oh man, this is going to be scary as hell. Like this is terrifying. This is going to be scary as hell." And he's thinking, and I remember him telling Sam, "Oh yeah, he's thinking that they're going to do this like Re-Animator." Like this movie where they have a stunt body and then they like have the cut head like they do for Linda, but like he's thinking that that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the body, the stunt body, and everything to make it like kind of realistic and stuff. And then Sam's like, "Bring in the Linda puppet," and that fucking thing shows up, and he's like, "What is going on?" And then they start shooting the scene, and he's like, Sam's like, hit Bruce again, hit him again, and the fucking puppet's just banging into him, and then he's like, oh, this is silly. This is supposed to be silly. Like that's when that realization hit for him. But the fact that he used it, which was funny because this also is silly. It's just that Sam's vision was cartoony, and
Yeah.
Stuart Gordon's was let's make it silly but realistic. And I just always think that story is really funny because Sam Raimi hadn't seen Re-Animator at that point. So when they're like, "Oh, I thought you were going to do it like Re-Animator," and he's like, "Oh, they have a decapitated guy in Re-Animator." He's like, "You've got to see it first of all." But yeah, it's quite different. So you don't worry, you're not ripping anybody off.
If Sam Raimi
Um,
would have directed Re-Animator.
yeah. I mean, it kind of feels like it could have. I mean, not because it doesn't have those Sam Raimi fucking shots. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Stuart Gordon directs the shit out of this movie. It's great. I wouldn't want it any other way. But you can tell a Sam Raimi movie, even when he's doing like fucking a simple plan. He throws a couple Sam Raimi shots in there because he can't help it. It's who he is. It's in his nature. But this special effect and this whole concept is a lot of fun and really good. The zombie, the effects of the other Re-Animated is pretty good too. I think when they when this in the morgue scene here at the end,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
agree.
they're zombies basically. They look like zombies and they're kind of droning like zombies.
He
They're
lobotomized
all
them
being
with his like laser thing.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that
Laser
laser.
drill.
The
This looks more like
laser.
a torch, really.
Yes, a laser lobotomizer essentially. God, when I love this like morgue scene, by the way. Like I said, it's just fucking chaos. Derek,
When they all pop up at once.
Yeah, when they pop up at once. Before that, when you have Megan tied to the, like I said, tied to the thing with freaking his head, like, and she's like, pushing his head away as he's like licking her and stuff. And then he like legitimately goes to go down on her, and it's so disturbing. You're like, this is wild. What is going on here? And that shot of Wes when he shows up is actually pretty fucking great. It's a great shot. Pops out of the shadows, like looking pretty cool. And, says, you think anybody's gonna, what's the line? You think anybody's gonna believe that you took my work? You're nothing but a fucking head or something like that.
Doesn't he call him like a sideshow freaker or something?
Yeah.
along those
Yeah.
lines?
Won't you go join the sideshow or something like that? Yeah. Good stuff. And then of course then the big meltdown happens. What do you guys think of this wild, insane third act here?
Oh, it's chaos. It's glorious chaos, but it's absolute chaos. And when he injects, like he over injects that her dad, I think is who it was.
No,
Maybe it was his body.
the body. He does over injects the body, and it starts to melt
And
down.
I don't know what the fuck. Giant tongue comes out.
Yeah, it's like the intestine or something pops out and grabs him. That shit's crazy. Also, I love how her dad, like, once she reaches him, like he breaks from he recognizes her. His humanity's still in there. So he starts protecting them. And he goes after Dr. Hill, and he fucking literally crushes his head and then throws it into the hallway. What do you guys think of that? Because I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And the security guard is like, well, not going in there.
Dude, that fucking security guard is awesome. I love that guy. Right? Isn't he the best?
Yeah.
He gets like paid just enough to show up.
Exactly. Yeah. I love when it always gets a big laugh out of me when Dr. Hill's sneaking in, when he's in the, his head's in the tote and he has like that fake head on him. And it's like the anatomy head and it's clearly fake. And he's just like,
oh my God.
And he doesn't even, Dr. Hill's at you? And he's like, oh. He's like, all right. He just can't be bothered to give a fuck. It's so good. It's so funny. Yeah, and he's also reading like a fucking Hustler or something. Some kind of like nudie mag.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, time to take a break.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in the broom closet, knock twice.
I liked when they were sneaking him into the morgue initially, and he was like, "Hey, you got my lunch under there?" And he goes to like lift the.
Yeah.
He was like, huh, yeah, it's a meatball got like flattened by a semi or something.
Yeah, that is very funny. I also like Wes' reaction because he's like, you see him hiding under there. It's like a fun little heist movie or something. And then he's like, a meatball? He's like, oh, look, there's your meatball right there. And the relationship between Herbert West and Dan is pretty interesting in this movie because it's like, it almost feels like Dan is the only person that West kind of even gives a shit about, right? And I mean, he's using him to a degree, of course, too. But you do get which is different in the source material. West is just flat out manipulating Dan the whole time. and like he becomes terrified of West because it becomes the point where West is murdering people and he doesn't know what he's capable of. In this, you get kind of the sense that he at least has a fondness for Dan. Right? Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean,
They're kind
he's
of in it
kinda in on
together.
Yeah.
he's in on the discovery, kind of. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I
honestly,
mean,
it's the closest thing he has to a friend
yeah, correct.
in any sort of way.
And like it's,
Although he
like
probably would throw him under the bus as soon as he had the chance.
Oh, he
he would if he had
100%
to, but
would.
he does also like, he does in his defense, he does go along with the plan to save Megan instead of like just, you know, going and screwing up the plan. He is the distraction to get her out.
Yeah. He likes
So
them
it's
because
like,
they're not complete idiots in his
yeah,
I
mind.
gotta
yeah,
say, that scene where, the tongue does try to, like or whatever it is, the intestine tries to
yeah.
take Wes away, and there's, like, their hands are, like, almost
Oh,
he's trying to
yeah.
save him, and then it cuts away, and he's, like, literally right next to him.
No, that made me laugh too. I saw that. Yeah, I was like, well, I mean, the editing there is to give us like some sort of like
Yeah,
tension
suspense.
and
Yeah.
and tension and to show like that Dan is trying to help him, he does care, that sort of thing. And then that wide shot just does them no favors because it's like, just stand up and grab him.
Yep,
That's funny.
that's how I felt too.
Yeah, that's good. The like the third act, like or the very end of the movie, the ending of this. What do you guys think of it? Like
Hey,
her
man.
being killed by one of the reanimated,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Dan tries to save her life and can't. So he, of course, ends with pulls out the reagent and starts to put it in, and we get like that,
Pet
says I
Cemetery.
love you, and we get that cool.
Mhm.
I love that fade out of the black, and we just see the green vial, and it just, and then we hear her
Mhm.
scream. That's a great ending, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep, didn't learn his lesson.
Nope.
Desperate.
That's the Yep. That's the thing. It's pet cemetery disease, Lydia.
Yep,
Yep.
If they watched Pet
I
Cemetery,
think
which in their defense had not come out yet.
that's true.
that's
Couple
But the
years
book
away.
was out. You need to read
The
that
book
Yeah.
shit,
was out.
Dan.
Yeah.
He ain't
Damn
got
it,
time, he's a
Dan.
med student.
That's true. That's
I
true.
think Jake asked me something along the lines of like, would you want to be reanimated or would you want to be like just dead? I was like, I think I'd rather just be dead.
Yeah, being reanimated seems like it's a fucking drag, man. You know?
Yeah.
It's not like idle hands where they keep their personalities and shit. You're just like a fucking ghoul.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. Except, I mean,
You
I
know
guess
what?
you can retain your personality because Dr. Hill does.
I was
So
gonna
it
say,
depends.
he's the only one.
He goes
But
crazy though.
He does, I
but he's
mean,
kind
it
of
kind of
already crazy. But
yeah, he
yeah, he
already,
goes
like,
even
just
crazier.
lets loose, but he's,
Yeah.
coherent, he can make decisions, he you know what I mean?
Plans.
But, I mean
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't
But
understand
maybe the
that. I mean,
correlation is
Oh, I
also
see
his
what you mean. Yeah.
intelligence. Yeah,
could
maybe it's also
be,
Yeah.
his
could be,
intelligence.
but I would think
And
that her dad was
the fact that I think her dad had brain damage because he got thrown into the fucking wall
That's
head
true.
first.
Yeah.
could've been.
He just had like motive of like that he murdered him and he was just like, you bastard.
Yeah,
Like as soon
because
as he
that's what he
came
calls
back, he
him.
was
Yeah,
pissed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bastard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I love how the body slams his head. That's really fun. It's a really great shot. The body raising up behind him and walking up. That's good stuff.
Yeah. It was really funny how violent that looked.
Dude, it's so
Because you could tell it was just like a guy with like his arms were like way down here. He's like, "Ugh."
Hey, Lydia, when you got a budget, like they did,
Dude.
you
when he's when he's holding the torso's holding Hill's head and he's looking through the glass at Dean Halsey, and he's just like, it's like really fucking creepy, like genuinely creepy. You're like, ugh.
yeah,
Fucking
I
guy
like
is
that one.
gross and fucked up. Yeah, great stuff. And then we also can't not talk about the score to this. The opening, especially the opening score. You
Oh,
guys
yeah.
heard this song before, right?
Yeah. It's the Psycho theme song.
It's Psycho, yeah. If not exactly Psycho,
It
incredibly close.
It's slightly changed, but I think still
Yes.
enough to be considered stolen from Psycho.
Yeah, pretty much plagiarism. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been a running thing about this movie for years. Is and it's very good. I mean, it's very cool, but of course it's good. It's the fucking Psycho theme song, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like if you know and you notice like the first time I watched this movie, I was like, "What the hell? Can they
You're
do
like, wait,
that?"
that sounds really familiar.
Like
Yeah,
there's just
so it
too
was
much.
Richard Band is the one that composed it, by the way. And he says
Mm.
he noted the similarities were intentional in that he used that as a base and modified the theme, but kept the Herman-esque feeling.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Yes, but I will say that the title sequence is a fucking banger, though.
Yeah.
The visuals of the title sequences are amazing. I love this title sequence, right? Just push
Yeah.
you like right into it. You're like, oh, okay. It's great. I love it. But yeah, definitely Psycho. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, "Is this Psycho?" Just kept
Yeah.
going, and I was like, I was like, "No,
I
definitely
used
Psycho."
to listen to that. I used to listen to that when I was young, the orchestra, like the orchestral like score of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just, yeah, there's a little too much in common there. I don't
You
know how
you
they got
you
away with
should.
that.
It's a great fucking theme song. Yeah, it's a great piece of music. Bernard Herrmann. But yeah, the that's one of those bits of controversy with the movie. And what I think is funny about about that too is that, like, I mean, the music in general is pretty decently solid. It works, but incorporating that Psycho theme is just, I think, pretty funny. Like, just like it's supposed to be. He's like, oh, it's supposed to be inspired, kind of a parody of Psycho. It's like, but you kind of just did the thing. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you kind of did the thing. Um.
Kind of copied someone else's homework a little bit there.
Yep. Yep. Just like my cousin Joey in fucking 5th grade. Just and he did just
Damn
as
it.
bad of a job. Joey just crossed my name out, tried to erase it. I wrote it in pen, so he tries to like cross it out and then just writes Joey on top of it. So that's what he did. Just crayon put Richard Band over Bernard Herrmann's name.
Yeah. Yeah. The teacher's
But
like, "Why did you both get a D plus?"
hey, I didn't get a D plus. I fucking was Bernard Herrmann. I got an A on that bitch. I don't know if it's an A. It's probably more like a B, but it was a solid grade. Better than Joey's 0. I can tell you that. Because here's the thing: if he copied it, that'd be one thing. But he like completely just stole my homework. Like he just took.
That's what this guy did.
Dude, he said, we were handing our papers in, and he said, "Hey, I'll take you." I remember I didn't even like. I kind of thought it was weird, but I just thought Joey was being nice. He's like, "Hey, want me to turn your paper in for you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I handed it to him, and then Mrs. Berryman, if you're listening, she says, "Jamie," she pulls me aside. "Jamie, why didn't you do your homework?" And I was like, "I did my homework. I spent like fucking 2 hours on it last night." Is what I'm thinking. What are you talking about? I was like, "I definitely did it." It's like, "Well, I didn't get it." And I said, "Well, I handed it to Joey. He turned it in for me." And she goes, "Hang on a second." And then she calls Joey out, and then calls me out to the hallway with her and Joey. And Joey says, she goes, "Joey, do you have something to say to Jamie?" "Sorry, I stole your homework." Like, you son of a bitch. How dare you? Fucking
Very
classic.
sneaky.
Your own cousin, man.
Yeah, you can't trust family. Can't trust family. So,
That
guys.
is literally a rule that they teach you in business class, at least the business course that I took.
But
Did you hear that lesson? Do you need
Derek's
to
the
hear that
master of
lesson?
Derek's the master of just like completely killing a conversation dead cold.
How did I kill that? That was literally a. We talked about that in
Because
business class.
because just for several reasons you didn't finish. You just said that's what they teach you in business class. That was it. And it's just like
You guys
okay,
didn't hear when I said, at least the one that I attended.
yes, we did.
That was a full thought. I don't understand. It was relevant.
I got something to tell you afterwards. So guys, what do you think of Re-Animator? What are we thinking?
I'll go
First of
first.
all, is Herbert West a good horror movie character? Like, where would you rank him
Absolutely.
on our our protagonist antagonist kind of like hierarchy? Would he be pretty high? I think he would be pretty high for me.
Yeah, say so. He tiptoes. I mean, yeah, in a lot of ways, he has no morals. Like his only
Yeah.
redeeming quality is that he kind of develops a friendship with Dan, and I think that's only because Dan like really got into the weeds with him, and you know what I mean. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, he's a great character. I think most of it's the actor,
yeah,
and his portrayal. So, but yeah,
yeah. I agree. I think he's a very. I think he's a
Who would
suitably
you
iconic.
like put him next to? Like who would you compare him next to on the list of villains?
Yeah, so he's like he's like our protagonist antagonist, right? So like he's a villain, but he's kind of our protagonist. Dan's technically the protagonist, but it's
Yeah.
Herbert West's show. You know what I mean? It's Herbert West's show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
You
think
kind of
as
root
far
for
as
him a
like
little bit.
horror characters go, I mean, he's not the highs of like Ash, for instance,
No.
which is just
No.
the all-time. I mean, the greatest horror character. The greatest horror protagonist is Ash with like a bullet, I think. Um,
I
better
didn't know
than
this was
you
going to
heard
be
it.
on the quiz, so I am
Listen,
not
you
prepared
heard
to
it
answer
here.
this
Better than
question.
Laurie Strode, better than even Sidney Prescott, whom I love. It's Ash is the best horror movie protagonist, in my opinion. He's the most fun. He's the most
Yes.
interesting. He's the most funny. So, but I
Yes.
think as far as like iconic characters, I think that he's like obviously not like Frankenstein monster level or those kind of iconic images, but he has a very big cult following, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, and some merchandise. So I mean, we're trying to think of anybody that's even comparable to him. Like Dr. Frankenstein, I guess Colin Clive's Dr. Frankenstein is somewhat comparable, except Henry Frankenstein, Colin Clive's Henry Frankenstein, has obviously more morals than Herbert West does. He's actually more in line with the Oscar Isaac Frankenstein that from Del Toro's movie, I feel like, with more
Yeah.
scruples, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah, I agree
mean,
with that.
especially with the obsession that he has. He's kind of like Ahab, right? He's like Ahab. He has to beat
Oh
this.
yeah, he's
He has to
definitely got
catch
some
this white
Ahab
whale.
in him. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, that
It,
that pencil scene,
oh, yeah.
That
like
was funny.
I don't know. I
I
was
love
like,
how
who does that?
I like how he immediately grabs another pencil and puts it in position, like ready to go again. And I
Yeah.
love how he does it just because it fucking gets under Hill's skin, which tells us immediately that Hill is like a fucking he can't take the heat. You know what I mean? He he can dish it out, but he can't take it.
Yeah,
So
and the
that's
fact
hilarious.
that it's right in the middle of him fucking peeling the face off of a dead body.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Classic.
great. So guys, what do we think about Re-Animator? What are we gonna give it?
Sorry, I had to yawn. Uh, so as a first watch, like this movie is surprising. Like it's gory.
Hmm.
It's got a pretty cohesive story. I mean, yeah, some of it's kind of like slapstick a little bit, and The budget on this movie was $900,000,
Mm-hmm.
which is wild that they were able to do what they did on that budget. Even if it was 1985, that's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
wild. Um,
Yeah.
and it made over 2 million, so that it definitely got a sequel. But yeah, so this movie was surprising. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I knew it was a cult classic. I mean, I knew the movie. I don't recall ever watching it. But great characters, great actors, um, great effects. Pretty solid. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
What say you, Lydia?
I think I'm gonna give it a 6. I think I'm right around a 6. I think it's really I think it's a really good horror movie, honestly. It's got a lot of funny aspects to it, a lot of gore. It's pretty good. I probably could have done without the, severed head kissing the girl all up. Probably could have done without that personally, but that's just me. Um, you know, other than that, I think it's pretty fun. It's a fun one. Maybe don't watch it with your parents if you're young.
Definitely
You know.
don't watch it with your parents at any age, probably.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, unless you're, I guess if you're like, I could watch it with my dad and just
Yeah,
laugh
for
about
sure.
it, but I'd be like,
Yeah.
it just always, I always just flash back to that fucking time I watched Scary Movie with my mom, and I'm just like, feel my
You have the
ears
ultimate.
getting hot and burning.
You know
Yeah.
that feeling better than anyone, I think, because of
Sitting
that.
in the movie theater is the worst part. Just sitting in the movie theater, not being able to go anywhere, not being able to go. Like, you'd go, oh, I got to go get a drink, or I'm going to go get a snack or something. You're just kind of like
Yeah.
sitting there with my
Yeah.
mom and her fucking friend, like, oh my God,
Like, uh-oh.
he
No,
cummed her to the ceiling.
yeah,
That's the
I
one. He's like,
watched.
he cummed her to the ceiling.
It's relevant, so I'll throw it out there really quick. So the first time I saw Clerks 2 was with my mom
Oh, the
and a
donkey
guy,
scene?
the donkey scene. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God,
That's a pretty bad one too. Nothing like a
gotta
little,
finish.
nothing like
I
a
miss my
little
donkey.
bestiality to bring the family close together.
Interspecies erotica.
That's right. It's yeah, Kelly and her sexy stud. So anyway, I'm gonna give Re-Animator probably an 8. I think this movie rips. I think it's a lot of fun. It's funny, it's spooky, it's well shot, by the way, really well shot. Has some good, good shots. It's funny, has some crazy kills in it, great gore effects. It kind of hits all the spots that I want in kind of a splatter, one of these splat stick horror movies. I mean, the bar is set and unparalleled with Evil Dead 2, in my opinion. I think it's the best. I don't think it's been surpassed to this day when it comes to splat stick. It's on a pedestal on its own. But this gets pretty close. It's breathing the same air as the Evil Dead franchise, just not quite the same rarefied gonzo fucking goofiness that pops out of Sam Raimi's mind, or the filmmakers that follow. But yeah, this is a fun one. I really enjoy it. Now, guys, here comes the fun part, because we are going to Akanize Re-Animator. Who would Tom Atkins play?
You'd probably have to play
The villain.
either
Dr.
the
Hill, right?
dad.
Yeah, the villain.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Dr. Hill.
Hill, yeah.
Guess he'd have to play Dr. Hill. She probably wouldn't be pushing his head away.
He wouldn't, but he's too cool to like. Dan's kind of a straight and narrow guy,
Yeah,
but I think he would really rock it as the villain.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Like God made fathers. That's why God made doctors, babe.
yeah,
Like God made
that's
doctors.
I agree with that. So, Lydia, it's
Yes.
your turn to pick.
Yes.
What are we watching this week?
So, I wasn't exactly the most prepared to choose, but a movie that kind of kept popping up after watching these two movies was Castle Freak.
I was just
And I have
talking
never
about Castle Freak.
I know, because I listened to the episode and you mentioned
Yeah.
it there, and then I saw it pop up on my recommendations list after watching this one, and I was like, okay, maybe we should do that. I've never seen that one.
Okay, that's an interesting choice. That's Stuart Gordon's Castle Freak, by the way, the same director as Re-Animator, also starring Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton. So
Oh,
we're
really?
double dipping. Yeah. Oh yeah. The crew's back together,
Oh,
boys. It's not quite as
what am I
gonzo
getting
fun
myself
as
into?
it's not quite as gonzo fun as Re-Animator, but it's a fun. It's an experience. I remember vividly the first time I watched Castle Freak, and we'll talk about it next week. Did you see where Castle Freak is streaming, Lydia?
I think it was on Prime. I think that's where I watched this one.
Yeah, it is. Castle Freak is available on Prime, Tubi, and Apple TV. So you can check out Castle Freak, Stuart Gordon's Castle Freak. Also, it looks like yeah, there it is. It used to be on Shudder. That's where I watched it, by the way. Was on Shudder for the first time. So that's our show this week. Tune in next week for Castle Freak, that's a fun way. That's like a Market Basket bit there, Derek. Is it Castle Freak or Castle Freak? Is it Market Basket or Market Basket? What do you think?
I have no input.
So next week we watch Castle Freak, starring Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton, and directed by Stuart Gordon. So you can follow us online at HiLaProductions.com. You can follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. You can see all of the shorts here, obviously. And at the end of this episode, you will see the opening scene for Secret Admirer, the feature we are working on. Stay tuned for in this space and on those socials and website, because we have some really exciting news coming up regarding a short that we're working on as well while we gear up for the feature. So stay tuned for that as well. And we'll have a lot of fun next week. So thank you for tuning in. And until next week, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies.